Alright, good evening, everybody. I'm Vice Forecaster JD Rapp with you, back with you in the USA Severe Weather Network Center. We had some some tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings to pass along to you with some wind damage coming in and some reports coming in. So we're doing a live severe weather update to keep you informed, and probably will stay with you just for a little while to keep you informed on this. Just give me a minute. We want to try to get Isaac Schaff on for a little bit, but I think he's a little bit busy right now, so we will get started just in a second. We have a couple tornado warnings in place. We do have a hatched area where we can see a couple strong tornadoes. So let's go right to radar. I'd love to sort this stuff out here first, see what we got going. Alright, let me try to get everything in here. And we got one storm up to the north. We'll have to watch that complex also too. So, alright folks, we have some damage coming in right now. We'll sort of that first before we go to all the tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. We have reports of trees down across north central Erie County. That's parts of Ohio. We're starting to get more reports of roofs and buildings, roof off building. 55 miles of gusts reported. So we're just starting to get stuff coming in right now. So we decided to break in for a little while to keep you informed. And like I said, we got one report of 70 miles of gusts. So right now we want to take a look at the tornado warnings. We'll take the tracks off. It'd be better off what we can see here in a minute. Ohio County and central Indiana, north central Dyersburg County, and north central Indiana. So let me try to So, north central Kenton County, north central Kentucky, Kenton, central Campbell County, and north central Kentucky, Boone County, and north central Kentucky, north central Hamilton County, and north central Ohio into 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time. At 9:10, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Shawnee, moving east around 35 miles an hour. It's booking at 35, so this is a radar indicated tornado. So you listed in any of these communities, you probably want to seek shelter near Taylor. All right, one tornado warning, I think, just got off the board, so that's some good news that we got some experiment on that. This includes Interstate I-75 and between Kentucky mile mark 174 and 109. So this is a tornado warning that goes in effect, and I think we just got one expired. So let's back out, just see if that is the case. If we do, we could get one tornado warning goes effect at 9:45, and that's for Boone County. So we'll maybe drill in here, switch back to velocity, take just a look here. Yeah, very strong signs of rotation. So if you're in Boone County, now's the time. Plan your tornado plan to action is go to the basement if you have one. Ground floor will be always the safest place to be in. That is red next to green. That is some gate-to-gate sheared. That's when red's coming in, green's coming out. That is pretty decent strong sign of we can see a possible tornado with that storm there. So you definitely want to get centered. Get covered, put a mattress between if you have one, a bike helmet on top of your head. Make sure you're protecting yourself from flying debris. Like I said, these storms could produce some very strong winds, very large hail this even, and that possibility of a tornado or two is still possible with this. So let's switch off here just for a second. We'll look at that. Back out. Alright, folks, we got some new severe thunderstorm warnings had just been issued from the Weather Service. Starting to get down trees in Dyer County over here. We're starting to get more trees down. Roofs been blown off with this line. And there's a few more developing too. So Williamstown, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning too now. This in effect from north central Kenton County, north central and Sion and parts of Gallatin counties in Kentucky. This goes in effect through 10:15 Eastern Daylight Time. At 9:22, a severe thunderstorm were located along the line extended from Union to Floyd, smooth east on 45 miles an hour. So, folks, this is booking at 45 miles an hour with the specs 70 miles a gust with the storm. This is include Starkville down here in Kentucky, Elk Lake, Atwood, North Central Nelsonville, and Grainsville and Flakeburg. So this includes Interstate I-70 Kentucky between miles mark 144 and 169. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning. Main threat is going to be damage and straight line winds. And not one completely roll out that spin up tornado like we already have one right now. So let's back out here. There's a lot more rotation. Anytime you get these kinks tonight, that will indicate very strong rotation. So I'll be right back in a second. Alright, if you're just tuning into us tonight, we have these storms up here in parts of Indiana and out here, and these storms out here in Kentucky and parts of Indiana. These are capable of producing wind damage tonight. That's why we're concerned about the possibility of some very strong to straight line winds. That's why the tornado warning goes through 9:45. So let me go get my computer mouse. Alright, and you can just see these storms have been popping up this afternoon, and like I said, been getting some roofs been blown off. Let's see. Severe thunderstorm warning has been issued there to 10:15, and this line's booking at 45 miles an hour, and we could be seeing a tornado with the storm here. Pretty decent signs of some wind sheared. And you can just see, let me zoom in, and we'll be staying with you for a little bit. Maybe to some of these, at least a tornado warning will get expired, and we'll see what we could do. Because we get reports coming in really quickly, we need to stay with this line. Let's see here. Trying to get everything, because when you get close to the radar, sometimes it doesn't want to work right, and that's when you run into the trouble. Alright, Gallatin down here in parts of Kentucky is under that severe thunderstorm warning, and this severe thunderstorm warning also includes Georgetown. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and this storm gives me signs of 60 miles of wind gusts, and includes Colbert, Mint County, and north central Ohio, Butler County in south central Ohio, and Campbell County in central Ohio. At 9:15, a severe thunderstorm located near Biloxi, Custer, Minnesota, 50 miles an hour. So if this is booking at 50, so if you live in Morgan, Alexander, Mintfield, Deer Park, Georgetown, this includes I-71 Ohio between miles marked 10 and 22. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning. These lines of storms could produce rotation, and that's where we get these brief spin-up tornadoes, what we could be getting. And we'll switch here. Very strong winds. This is going to be my biggest concern with this whole line. And you could just see how it's been going the last couple hours. So, while we're on coverage quickly, we'll do this. I'm going to pop my screen up here. And we want to go to, I'll shrink the radar. I'm going to look at the, show you we do have a new tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch. This goes through 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I don't know, we'll have severe weather going through 2 a.m. in the morning, but it's not out of the question. I mean, we do have a lot, the Storm Prediction Center, folks, we have a lot of energy in the battery for storms to get going. This is a system, but I knew we would see severe weather more than we did last night. Like I said, I know a lot of people boating with because it's Father's Day weekend. If that's the case, just be careful. This is an area what we do have to watch for storms. And like I said, this is one of the weekends what we do have to watch this, because we do got storms out there that could get severe. Trying to fix my laptop here, so. Alright, so let's go to this here. I'm trying to pull up. Alright, SPC has the new watch out. This goes through 2 a.m. in the morning. I mean, no, this has been effective 3 o'clock. Main threat's going to be 70 miles of gusts. So we could be dealing with more severe weather as we get in through the nighttime hours. So change this. And you can see that the new watch goes through 3 o'clock in the morning. Main threat's going to be damaged and straight line wind to 70 miles per hour. I don't know what they'll do with the tornado watch, if they'll keep it or just keep extending it. And we do have the tornado watch through 11 p.m. over here, or we can still have those spin ups. They might just go ahead and downstring that and put a new severe thunderstorm watch out to make it through the. Alright, folks, sorry about that. My mic was unplugged. They might just go and put a severe thunderstorm watch out, because the winds are be gusting more than we could have tornadoes. So that's one thing they might go ahead and do. I haven't heard what the SPC is going to do yet. And just reading what they put here. May need a southeast extended on the watch, so we could see another watch be issued. I don't know, there'll be another tornado watch. We'll have to see what happens. So right now, if you're just joining us from the Weather Center today, we're still doing severe weather coverage. We do have a tornado warning still, and these storms are still been booking. These are kind of super sailor today, and they have been producing some gusty winds, and these sails are going to have a lot of punch to them. So we'll zoom into this. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, and even that tornado warning that goes through about, let's see, it expire at 9:45. Yeah, and so the tornado warning will expire eventually. Then we'll send things back. Still looking at the sails behind the back of this. This is 10-15. Mainly these are going to be golf ball size hail. So that's still enough to cause some trouble. Echo tops are extremely strong, especially when we get to the pinks. That means they're very strong today, and that's why we have to watch these sails, because they're very strong. Now we take that off, and you can see that severe thunderstorm warning right over here. This one is still capable of producing up to golf ball size hail today, and that's why we do have that hail up to 1.5. That's enough to cause some significant damage to vehicles. You do have that. Some of these warnings are getting ready to move out of the viewing area. And that's still tornado watch through 11 p.m. Still watching these. Most of these warnings are getting ready to expire. So that is some good news. I don't know if they'll reissue another warning. Just looking through here. Alright. New wind gusts up to 55 miles an hour, so that was been reported. And you can see, looking for debris just to see if we have any, and we don't. So no debris with that storm. If you live in Georgetown, you're under one to set the 10-15. This storm is mainly going to be producing some very strong to straight line winds. So even at 70 miles a gust, please take these as a tornado. If you feel threatened, move to the lowest floor. I mean, the best place to be at is just to wait and wind this tonight and let these storms pass you. Because we can get winds tonight, can be like tornado wind speeds, sometimes like 70. Starting to get some more weak rotation again. And once we get these kinks in the line, you can get strong rotation, and that's what leads to problems. So right now we're almost about at 8:44, and storms are continuing up to the north right now. And so far they've really not been producing hardly anything. I think there's been a cap on things where just the sun's going down and they just can't develop. I guess that's a good thing. Looks like they kind of go this way, move toward Taylorville. Let me check the rotation in this. It don't give us signs of any rotation, just 60 miles of wind with quarter-size hail up that. That's still enough to cause some problems. Alright, new storm up there towards the north. Let me check that out. And for Lincoln and Christian County. So, once we get more damage reports, we'll add Illinois Storm Watch in. Probably do that the next update on that. We continue. This depends how long we stay on this. Alright, now Jackson County, the National Weather Service in Minneapolis has entered another one. This is in fact a 10-15 for Jackson County. Golf ball size hail with this one. And you can just... Alright, we got somebody on with us. We'll see who decided to pop on. Isaac, alright, can you hear us?
Yes, 1 second. Yeah, following with that, so we've been getting some couple damage reports there out of Morgan and Sangamon counties there.
New storms up there towards Illinois.
Yeah, you can see the, I believe the latest mesoanalysis showing that corridor of instability kind of into like eastern Illinois and into Indiana. There is a capping inversion present with some of that activity there across eastern Illinois. And I will say that the low-level jet and everything is ramping up on the back end of all this. So we are expecting further upscale growth to eventually occur with all that convection that's billowing across western and central Illinois. So we expect a progressive severe risk associated with that as well. As always, keeping a close eye on that situation in Indiana. I would expect I would expect for the most part. Um, so in across central Indiana, we've had several reports of significant wind damage and a few tornado reports into northern Kentucky and western Ohio as well. And you can see those purples on reflectivity. So we are seeing some very strong downdraft cores, and that is where we're seeing the highest mixed layer cape, focusing more on Indiana at this point and Ohio at this
Yeah, but
point.
we got
So
two warnings in Illinois.
yeah, I'm aware of the Illinois warnings, and again, that is the corridor kind of where storms are kind of starting to grow upscale here. You can see they are maintaining some healthy updrafts. Those are two separate cells, actually. There's one tracking into eastern sections of Sangamon and into Christian counties. We are expecting, again, a concern for 60-mile-per-hour gusts and hail that may be around quarter size with those particular cells. And you can see we have those tornado warnings in central and south central Indiana, or we've had those tornado warnings.
Yeah, Isaac, I'm getting a little more concerned. We're getting some pink markers again showing up.
Yeah, and again, that is indicating that you are starting to get that parent mesocyclone there closer to the base of the storm, and that is where you're starting to interact a little bit more with. Again, you are seeing some stronger coupling with that. Again, this is very broad wind shear that we are seeing that's helping maintain the severity of those storms well into southwest Ohio, like east of Cincinnati. We're keeping a close eye on that, but kind of focusing in on this whole cluster of storms. Again, you can see kind of that outward propagation with that eastern activity, but again, we're going to try and focus on the rest of the night here for folks in Illinois. Again, that are joining us today, we want to be watching very closely. I know the timing's been kind of difficult. It's been kind of challenging with the trends that we've been seeing over the short term, but we are still expecting a risk of severe weather overnight. And it's always important to have a way to receive weather warnings.
Yeah, it's very important, folks. Just listen to Isaac. We do have. It's very important to have to receive warnings tonight because I mean this is not going to be a severe weather outbreak. But you know, Isaac, even we see a severe thunderstorm warning with the wind gusts up to 70 at Indiana or 75. That's still enough to take a tree down.
Yeah, right. And I'm still kind of pointing out, again, we're going to focus on the rest of the night here for folks in Illinois. Again, you are seeing that convection ongoing in sections of Illinois, and the signature that I'm seeing on radar there is somewhat concerning. You're starting to see that boundary layer moisture. I am seeing cumulus clouds kind of building over my area right now. So while it is not, there's not really much forcing to get to grow these storms upscale at this point. But later in the night, the low-level jet to the west will overspread the region, and that is what helps drive these storms upscale, gives us more dynamic lift and elevated instability, and that's what gets these supercells going and and then that ramps up your severe potential there. And there is potential over the course of the night. We cannot rule out potentially some very large hail with some of these cells, again, that do grow upscale, that maintain the strongest updrafts. You could be talking locally golf balls, maybe even a bit larger with some of the strongest storms we may see tonight. But then
or a tornado too.
Yeah, and again, we are seeing that other round of severe storms right now. Again, we may see another round here into the morning hours for folks in east central Illinois. And once again, that is along the low-level jet
new severe thunderstorm warning, Isaac.
You'll get some strong downdraft cores with that activity with the second round, and you may get a renewed chance of damaging winds with that. And again, you may get some clusters, some decent bow echoes with some of these, like what we're seeing right now. And that
Yeah,
is
so
a
please
pretty
have
broad
warnings
area.
tonight. Have your
We'll have a
flashlights
way to
ready,
receive
tablets.
Have a way to receive warnings, not
Yeah,
have
and I don't mean to interrupt you, Isaac, but we
Yeah.
got new warnings to be issued out here for parts of Kentucky area, in the Whittington area down here in Kentucky. National Weather Service has issued storms, and these storms over here in Gallatin and north central Kentucky are capable of producing 70 miles of gusts. So definitely, if you're in this line, you definitely want to be in a safe spot. Go to the lowest floor, right, Isaac? Come these storms when
Yeah,
they produce.
and kind of just want to kind of touch on that a bit. I know there's not necessarily a lot of people that are joining us in Ohio and Kentucky in particular, but a lot of folks are worrying about the storms in Illinois, or maybe they're further across the country on our USA Severe Weather Network follower base. Again, you're seeing that broad wind shear, and we're kind of talking this system overall. And again, wind shear is what, again, this is elevated wind shear, not talking specifically low level or near the ground necessarily. That's been sporadic at times, but again, we're starting to get that capping inversion kind of panning in there. That doesn't completely do away with your severe risk, however.
No, it doesn't.
You still have, again, a lot of elevated convection, a lot of boundary layer moisture to work with. So that is, and again, you're talking elevated wind shear. And when you're talking that effective elevated layer speed shear, that's really what helps, again, drive this activity upscale. Or if there's a storm that's currently ongoing, you get a decent downdraft core, it may cycle again. So like when it goes through its updrafts and or upscale forcing and downdraft core cycling, where you get that cold core, you still get a decent updraft, and then that's what also generates your mesocyclone. Sometimes you may get brief mesocyclones, just instability driven with some of those.
Yep, we do. Report of a 50 miles of gust.
Yeah, and again, that cluster there, you're starting to see those reds and pinks there. That indicates you're seeing some strong downdrafts, potentially some hail associated with that.
Let me check that for you.
Low-level jet, you're starting
2-inch hail.
Yeah, and again, that is not confirmed. We want to kind of point out that that is just an algorithm on your computer that shows you, in particular, that it kind of estimates, like, depending on how much saturated air you get in that updraft and what the wind shear and everything kind of looks further.
Hold on a second. All right, what happened?
Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Yeah, and we were kind of touching on there. Again, we're paying close attention to those developments there in central Illinois. And again, the radar features and everything that I have been seeing there, still very concerning there. There's plenty of moisture to work with.
Yep, plenty of moisture.
Right now, we're kind of overcast. Again, we've been seeing some breaks in the clouds. That's generally what you tend to see here on these stormy days. I am going to jump outside here and.
Okay, when you do that, I will continue to keep people informed. Right, second.
Well, yeah, I'm still on the phone here, so I can.
Okay, everybody. Isaac is
up
trying to look outside. Yeah, and like I said, you gotta have to have folks. You gotta have ways to get warnings tonight. I mean, have a weather radio be handy. Your TV station. Make sure you have a tablet because you can watch us online. It's because you could lose power from some of these strong winds. Am I correct, Isaac?
Yeah, and again, I will point out where you're seeing the strongest downdraft cores. Again, there is that potential there for some isolated significant gusts, maybe over 70 miles per hour at times.
Yeah.
and you can see some larger branches start to sway with those stronger gusts. And again, so some of the and be alert for things that can fall onto your home too, because if you're in an
Yeah.
upper floor and there's a large tree that were to fall into your home, that could take out
Yeah.
part of the structural integrity and may have the potential to cause some injury too. We want to be really
Yeah,
careful.
just be careful. I mean, tonight, folks. If you're in a mobile home tonight, I would just do like I would do: go to a friend's house, or I used to come to my grandma's when there was a strong wind event overnight. That's the best thing to be at, because you do not want to be in a mobile home tonight when these winds are blowing that strong, or we could have some straight line winds. Even we don't get a tornado warning up here in Illinois, 70 miles a gust can do some significant damage, right, Isaac?
Yeah, right. And the tornado risk, kind of want to touch on that a little bit. It is not going to be zero, but the tornado risk is going to be pretty low. And I will point out, we're not seeing much surface-based convection. I am seeing a lot of moisture and lots of cumulus.
I see a lot of energy, what I can see.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I was going to say there's a thunderstorm that has developed here a little ways south of where I'm at right now. Kind of looking at it, I'm starting to see some lightning or some lightning flashes in the distance here. Like this would probably be about, I don't know, about 30 miles.
Yeah, here's the
south
echo
of
tops,
where I'm at.
Isaac. Here's the echo tops.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be the activity that I might be starting to get a glimpse on myself. Can you kind of zoom out? I want to get a broader view.
Okay.
And once again,
we can do that.
Again, we're seeing a lot of the storms that we're seeing there are southeast of my vantage point. I'm seeing some clearing, some breaks in the clouds out to the west.
And all that's going to do is give you more
that's
instability.
Sign. Well, again, that is indication here. We have quite a bit of instability to work with still, a lot of ways out west. But I'm also seeing some signs here with, I am seeing some mid-level stratus and some mid-level cumulus ridge forming well out west of us. And I think that's where the low-level winds, the mid-level winds, the mid-level flow around 8. Like I want to watch the 700, 850 millibar, the mid-level range, pretty closely, where the mid-level winds increase, the wind shear also increases. And again, this is elevated wind shear, and that is what gets your severe weather threat going. And that is an indication that, given what I'm seeing out west, that generally it's good to see some breaks in the clouds if you're looking at a decent setup for severe storms like this. But again, I will point
up here
out,
by Chester, up here to the north of here by Westfield area, there's another storm trying to get us there too. Looks like.
Yeah, go to the VIL. I know. Again, we want to see if there's enough of a saturated air column trying to force its way upward with that. And again, while you might not rule out some hail with that, that could, in a matter of, you never know, that some of these storms could develop in just a short matter of time. Like, I've seen storms in this type of environment that pop up.
Me too, I have.
And then they can go severe warned or tornado warned. You never know in a matter of just
Here's
an
another
hour.
storm in
Here's
a storm in Bloomington right now. I'm looking at in Norman, Illinois.
Yeah, Bloomington normal. We are, again, I'm seeing 20 to 30 miles to my southeast, kind of close, just south of Bloomington normal. That is where we're starting to see what could be a decent little soaker thunderstorm with that.
I'm a little concerned by
that one. Maybe some gusty
here's
wind,
some.
but mostly cloud-to-ground lightning being the main concern.
Terre Haute is under a severe thunderstorm warning now, and this storm is really strong, Isaac. Look at the echo tops. It's pink.
Yeah, that is east of Terre Haute, Indiana.
Folks, you got to be aware tonight.
Yeah,
these storms
again,
are going to be strong.
Is that the VIL or the echo tops?
That's the
Yeah, I
echo
was gonna
tops.
say, that appears to be a pretty high top cell. and again, a lot of more low top storms further into Illinois there. Again, the mixed layer instability is quite a bit higher while out there, but again, like I said, there's more capping taking place at this point into like central Illinois and areas further east. But what I'm looking at right now is, again, to the west, I'm starting to see some signs of the clouds that you're starting to see something trying to grow upscale here. I'm seeing these really flat linear clouds. And again, this is basically mid-level flow starting to increase. And again, that could be an indication you may have some enhancing with that wind shear further aloft. And again, not that it appears to be anything impressive. I'm not seeing like any major supercell activity to the west or anything. But as that activity moves closer to where obviously the boundary layer dew points,
look at here, Isaac. Look at this storm. It's starting to get strong pretty quick.
Can you kind of zoom in to what area you're talking about?
Here, I'll back out a little bit. Like right here. Said, remember that?
Is that Bloomington just south of there?
No, that's the one we listened by Westfield. We took a look at a few minutes ago. Now it's starting to get a little strong.
Yeah, and again, when you're seeing those purples on radar, that indicates you're getting a downdraft core. Whether you're seeing severe gusts, it's not a matter of where you see that purple on reflectivity, but it's where that low-level flow kind of mixes in at the ground along that. It may have the potential to produce some significant wind gusts. You never know. And once again, it's just something to keep a close eye on.
Yeah, it is.
And we're going to monitor the situation there with the National Weather Service warnings. And once again, we're going to be paying attention here to the severe threat as it progresses throughout the night. And we'll break in as long as we can. But to address the situation here over much of the night, we want to be weather aware. Again, have that NOAA weather radio, some cell phone way to receive severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, that meet that threshold, that can, start knocking down some thick tree limbs and take out power and maybe cause some damage to roofs and siding. We want to be aware of that as well. And once again, we're starting to see the mid-level flow really ramp up. We're getting that low-level jet, so the wind, not at the ground, but like, again, that the low levels of the atmosphere, let's just say within a kilometer or two above the ground. And again, that is focused a little ways further out west, and that is going to eventually make its way towards the rest of us. Again, this would be after 10 o'clock when we're going to start seeing that effect, with the elevated wind shear. That's really going to take effect here. And
with this, will these storms clip into Wayne County, Illinois tonight, Isaac, or not?
To address folks in like Mount Vernon, St. Louis, your threat is low. We're mostly talking areas. Again, the severe risk is lower, but I'm more particularly concerned for areas. Again, this would be north of Interstate 70, well towards I-72, I-74, maybe up a little ways south of I-80. Again, in more like
do you want me to leave Illinois Storm Watch page on now, or just leave it, or take that down for now?
Well, again, we still want to kind of address the followers here. Again,
okay, I'm staying on.
The severe risk here, the severe risk is not over. I know the warnings may be coming and going here with the, again,
I'm going to stay on.
Sometimes the storms may pop up. They're in their mature stage, but then the storm may weaken. But you're still dealing with lots of boundary layer moisture.
It's a bunch.
It only takes that effect here with, again,
and this storm up here by Westfield's getting strong, Isaac.
Yeah, and again, I can tell with that computer algorithm, again, there is a potential for that storm to produce hail.
Yep.
And
Look at here. Hail size almost up to 1.25 with this. It's starting to get to the white
yeah,
color.
that is an estimate. That is not anything that has been officially reported. So again, they won't issue a warning for half-dollar size hail immediately based off that algorithm. That's if the conditions are just right. Again, with that downdraft core kind of starting to cycle in, again, it makes its way further aloft, and then you're seeing a lot of that air being forced down. Again, that picks up a lot of the hail with it and the gusty winds.
Yeah.
And again, if that thing starts to really ramp up, again, that's where you're talking, the potential that the storm will be classified as severe. Um, and I am also going to advise here, this the low level winds are, I think they're really starting to ramp up. Um, a linear cloud. I'm going to kind of do my best to describe this the best way I can, but and to kind of show you
New
what I'm
storms
looking
in
at in terms of the
Kansas.
cloud cover that I am looking at here. I'm going to switch to my back camera. It's on my front. Oh, it doesn't want me to.
Here, maybe this will work better if I
Let's
just.
see. There we go. Yeah, so I have my back camera on, and you can see that would be again, you see a lot of moisture advection there. The low level winds are they're definitely really picking up well to my west, and again,
Mm-hmm.
kind of close to where the moon is. Again, I am based close to Peoria, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and again again these are these are low level stratocumulus form clouds, and again that's an indication there that the linear form of those winds, that is where, again, behind all that, I would assume there's more dynamic lift and instability well out west. And again, the low level jet is starting to approach. And
Yeah.
again, you can see all those clouds out west in the low to mid levels of the atmosphere. That's where see in the severe weather situations. I also want to show you to my east. Again, we have a descent cell that is of Bloomington as well, and I can see some of the cloud tops in the distance there. And again, I've seen some lightning, some occasional lightning flashes, well in the distance here. And again, it's more overcast to my south and east. And again, that would be the atmosphere well into east central Illinois is for the most part capped. And to touch on that, I believe the tornado risk is low, so we're not seeing much surface-based convection with what we're seeing. But I will still point out that you may get that enhancement in the cool pools that may erode the capping inversion at times. And that generally points us to say the tornado risk is never theoretically zero. Again, there's not a 0% chance of seeing tornadoes. Um, I would say, again, the National Weather Service kind of being in line with their outlook and guidance here. Again, by area, within 25 miles of any given location there, or just over the whole region, they have it at a low. So 2%, that generally means isolated tornadoes if you do see them. But again, we're more concerned about maybe seeing some localized hail well over golf balls, maybe even larger than that here
What do we
overnight.
see? A severe thunderstorm watch.
And again, I will point out the mesoscale trends are being monitored closely. They have not mentioned right away that a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch is warranted across central Illinois yet.
Hey,
But
I
I
just
wouldn't be
got one,
surprised to see that
Isaac.
change real soon.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
I just got a message on the Storm Prediction Center right now, so let me show that to everybody on here. I just got it, came through my phone. No watch is issued, but they monitoring a 80% right now of a watch being issued. So let me show it to you guys.
yeah, I would assume it's with the again the low level jets really it's going to ramp up our severe potential there, especially
Yeah,
as we get closer to that, you know, the neighborhood 10 o'clock into later in the nighttime here.
yeah, that's
And,
why we're
and
trying to tell you. You gotta have ways to receive warnings. We got a question here, Isaac, for somebody. Have
yeah,
I?
and so you can see the corridor of where we're seeing this highest instability would be focused close to Peoria. And once again, I would expect here, given that what we're seeing here, again, the low level flow is really ramping up here. And again, that's really what ramps your severe potential up. And again, after dark, for speaking mostly like again regarding like the Peoria area, I would expect there is that potential to see some severe weather there again past 10 o'clock. And once
Yeah,
again, this is mostly damaging winds and large hail being the main threats. Maybe some locally significant, maybe some larger hail, quarters to golf balls more likely with that activity there. And again, it's just given that, again, any cell that develops can grow
yeah,
upscale
I'd agree,
rather
Isaac, with you.
quickly. And again, that doesn't absolutely guarantee that there will be a severe thunderstorm that tracks through Peoria tonight. That just says that there is that potential and the conditions can
Yeah,
rapidly change. And again, we're
yeah,
sunny and humid right now. There's some
yep.
breaks in the cloud, I should say.
Yeah, what is so like I said, it just stepping outside, Isaac, and this is what I said to you yesterday is it just like that it just like you boil a pot of hot water and on the stove, bubbles bubble everywhere, and that's how steamy it is. You step outside, the boiling air, the humidity, the warm winds blowing, you know you're going to get it. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly. And again, generally that is what precludes your severe potential there into the nighttime. And again, that is a very strong indication there. Again, generally heat and humidity is a precursor to a stormy weather pattern. Again, with any kind of frontal system or trough that kind of advances into that region. And again, and once again, there is many different factors that kind of help, you know, factor into your given severe potential. And I will say there's many kind of bad news and good news that we can be talking about with this. But again, we've been initially we were thinking that the low level jet would kind of ramp up, and the whole region would be seeing those like those storms growing upscale. And again, the signature that we're seeing on radar, it's kind of good that we're not seeing all of those exploding into tornadic
Yeah,
supercells or like
me too. I
very
mean,
high speed
because
supercells like what we're seeing in Indiana. But I
yeah,
will say again, the instability is not going to be as again, the air is going to be slightly more stable to work with in the nighttime, but I will still say that humidity and everything is still going to be an issue. So, I mean, we're still going to have lots of instability to work with, but a lot of it's at the mixed layer. And once again, that would be the low levels of the atmosphere, kind of, you know, that jet kind of overspreads an area with higher mixed layer cape. And again, there's still that capping inversion to work with. So generally, that again, without the capping inversion in place, we'd be seeing tornado outbreaks
yeah,
potentially.
we
That's
would.
not what we're seeing because we have that capping inversion. So what the capping inversion version basically is. So at the ground, it's again the ground. It's like 80 degrees. A little bit further aloft, is it much colder or is it warmer? Again, warm air rises, and if there's anything that caps that, so warmer air that prevents the air surface from rising, that is what prevents surface-based convection there. And you would also want to see high boundary layer dew points. These are not the dew points at the ground, too. Again, that is what helps drive these storms upscale. And another thing you need is wind shear. And again, I do think that we're going to see wind shear is going to be an issue. Again, that low level jet really ramps up here. We'll still have some. I'll still have to check like mesoanalysis, see if that is trended upward. Are definitely there. Again, but potentially scattered to numerous strong to severe storms. Central Illinois here later in the over potentially the early overnight, maybe even into the early morning hours. We'll have to watch and see how the atmosphere kind of behaves with this. And I would say in theory that the tornado risk is not zero. So it would not be surprising to maybe see 1 or 2 tornado warnings out of this.
Yeah,
again,
and I'm going to tell everybody something too. Yeah, Isaac, these conditions are just right. I agree with you, but here's something I tell everybody. If you go under a tornado warning tonight, you may not be able to see it because it could be rain-wrapped. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, and even just because it's at night. And again, generally, we're not talking those intense tornadic supercells because you're working with that capping inversion, but you may see some cool pools, so some colder air that kind of makes its way to the low levels of the atmosphere near the base of the storm, or that area where it's initially capped, and that erodes the capping inversion. And again, the conditions are just right, and even with a weak capping inversion in place, theoretically, the wind shear and the dynamics may still favor isolated tornadoes. But generally, again, where we're at kind of right now, further into eastern sections of the state, I think there's a strong capping inversion in place. But I do think that there may be some breaks in the capping as well. So that would have to be watched fairly closely. And again, I would say that with the low level flow and wind shear really having the potential to ramp up here very soon, again, that is a sign that elevated speed shear really increases, and that's what helps in any given severe weather potential that you may see.
Yeah, and like I said, it won't be surprised me tonight if we see a tornado warning somewhere up there because there's just enough wind shear at times to get that. I mean, we had that back in the first week of May for Southern Illinois. No, that was Western Kentucky, and there was tornado warnings with the strong winds. So it's not going to be surprised me if we saw one.
Yeah, and once again, predominantly going to be damaging winds, large scale being your biggest concern. Maybe some isolated losses, significant wind damage, coupled in with those stronger downdraft cores that do develop. And maybe you could see some embedded hail, maybe larger than golf balls at times. And again, we're going to be monitoring the mesoscale trends. I do think that in the short term, we'll still have to monitor conditions, I think, well after 10 o'clock. I think around that time we may see that initial severe thunderstorm watch potentially being issued. And once again, that requires a thorough review of the latest trends and as that jet kind of overspreads the area, it kind of helps with giving us supportive kinematics for rapidly developing severe storms in a short term that would be monitored very closely. Again, we'll have to watch that really closely. And once again, still watching that storm near Springfield. Going to closely keep an eye on damage reports, and we'll take some time to again.
I'm gonna stay on here, Isaac. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We'll be back to um, we'll be back to jump on as we get more developments, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Isaac, for keeping us all and keeping us updated. All right, folks. The National Weather Service just issued a severe thunderstorm watch. Right now, this goes in effect through 4 o'clock in the morning. So, just issued a severe thunderstorm watch through 4 in the morning. So this watch runs through 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'll get that pulled up just in a second here. So let's pull this up. This is probably what got issued a few minutes ago. They issued it before 10 p.m. So this is a new watch that goes through 4 in the morning. So this is a severe thunderstorm watch. We kind of knew this would kind of get issued. So we'll show you on here. It hasn't got pulled up yet. So we'll have to wait on that. So let me try to... Just a second, folks. Alright, the severe thunderstorm watch has got into the 4 a.m. I'm going to have to try to pull it up. It's not pulling up at all, so we're going to have to wait on that. So storms are continuing to develop. Normal warnings in effect right now, so we'll probably take a small break, but I'm trying to find the severe thunderstorm watch before we sign off for our people in Illinois. Alright, it just came out. The main threat is going to be winds up to 70 miles per hour. This does include parts of Illinois. It doesn't include parts of Wayne County yet, or Jefferson. This does include parts of the up here towards our Illinois Stormwatch County areas. This is a severe thunderstorm watch that goes in effect from 4 o'clock in the morning. This main threat is going to be damaging straight line winds, large hail up to 2 inches. So we will continue to keep an eye on this through the even hours. Alright, folks, we're continuing to watch these sails. No more severe thunderstorm warning, but that doesn't mean we will. I mean, storms could bubble up for the night. That low-level jet could start happening eventually. That storm up toward Masonville could get stormy. And the severe thunderstorm wind up here, in fact, at the 10 o'clock up here towards Indiana. These storms in Terre Haute are very strong tonight over here, and over here in parts of Kentucky they've been strong. This line is capable of producing winds over 70. So we will continue to break you in tonight, keep you informed. If we have any new alerts coming across the screen, we will interrupt to keep you informed. I'll check hail the count one more time, and these storms are really trying to grow, and we will continue to keep you updated through the nighttime.